Sparka.com/press. Sparka.com/press. How to get into blogs and into conventional print media fast. Okay, so let's say you've got a product or service or company that you're trying to get in the news. You think your product is important enough to be delivered into the eyes and ears of millions of people around the world, and it just might be. You think your company is important enough to be talked about and to be buzzed about throughout the whole world, and it just might be. So then how do you get that news into blogs, into newspapers, magazines, radio, TV, print, YouTube, everywhere? And how do you get people to make it go viral? There are two ways you can accomplish this. And this is how professional PR firms do it. Actually, before we go into that, if I could ask you for a quick favor, if you could give me a thumbs up. I think the thumbs up button is down here, or actually I think it's down here. If you could click thumbs up, what that does is it helps this video get found by other entrepreneurs, other CEOs like yourself. The higher the thumbs up ratio is to the view count ratio, the more likely this video is to show up in a YouTube search for how to get press or how to get PR. So I appreciate that thumbs up. Let's go into those two ways. Number one is outbound. Number two is inbound. Really that simple. You can either go out asking bloggers to blog about you. You can go out asking journalists to write about you. Or number two, inbound, you can sit there and create an environment, create a condition under which bloggers, writers, journalists, other company CEOs are likely to contact you and ask you for an interview, ask you for a quote, ask you for references, or just contact you and ask you for content to put in their blogs and newspapers and magazines and so on. How do you do that? The outbound way is basically called lobbying. It's basically campaigning. What you're doing with the outbound way, actually let's do the inbound way first. Inbound is 100% predictive. You've got to be really good at predicting where the market is going and then position yourself. So it's predictive and it's positioning. You position yourself in a place where you're likely to be easily found if something becomes a news item. For instance, let's take technology. Right now the biggest talked about technology in wireless technology is 4G. Guess what's going to be next? Well, what was before 4G? It was called 3G. You know what was before 3G? Yep, you guessed it. It was called 2G. So, if you're smart enough and you're thinking, okay, what's going to be the next biggest wireless internet, wireless data thing? You might just want to get a website called 5G.com. If you had some patience, you might want to get 6 or 7G.com. I'll give you another example. When the iPhone 5, pictures of the iPhone 5 were first leaked out, everyone started saying, well, it looks just like the iPhone 4, and it's just a little bit longer. So, guess what? There was a brilliant artist, and all he did was create a picture of something he called the iPhone 10. Just for fun, logical progression. If you Google iPhone 10, our website comes up because we predicted that someone would eventually write about something called the iPhone 10, and when journalists look for people to quote, look for things to talk about, look for things to write about in their newspapers and their blogs, they're going to first use Google. And so when someone's going to write about an iPhone 10 eventually 4 or 5 years from now, guess who they're going to find 4 or 5 years from now? Our blog. So go ahead and try it. iPhone 10, you'll see a long picture of, anyway, go ahead and try it. That's how you do predictive press. Figure out in your industry, in your line of work, in your business, where the market's going, and look for terms, look for trademarks, look for, I'll give you one other random example. When wireless internet was 2G, HSDPA was the name of the first UMTS 3G technology. HSDPA, it's 5 acronyms. It's 5 characters. When I first heard HSDPA, what crossed my mind is it's way too long. Who came up with this? Sure enough, the engineers came up with it. The scientists who patented and created the HSDPA standard created it. Sure enough, when the standard went to marketers, guess what they did? They dropped out one letter. Now it's called HSPA. If you had the wherewithal to look in your industry, to read your news, and see where things are going, and just put up a column saying, hey, put up a blog post, put up a website, buy a domain that says, hey, this is what's going to happen. I'm the expert on it. And 6 months ahead of time, a year ahead of time, 5 years ahead of time, you put this blog up. By the time it becomes news, if you're right. So this means you're going to have to buy 200-300.coms. You're going to have to put up 300, 400, 500 blog posts on your predictions. And sure enough, one of them will stick and you'll be on page 1 of the New York Times or Wall Street Journal, like I was, because I hit a gold mine. That's how you do predictive PR. How do you do outbound PR? Outbound PR is even harder. Outbound PR is, like I said, lobbying, where you go after the news writers, the bloggers, the journalists, and say, hey, I've got a product you should write about. I've got a product, I'm a person you want to quote. How do you convince them of that? Now, remember, put yourself in their perspective. They get thousands of people, literally. Me personally, running a marketing firm with, what are we up to, seven people now? I get about 300 emails a day. So every 40 seconds or so, every 40 seconds, every 2 minutes, I'm getting an email from a new person. That's how much volume of contact we get. So how do you convince this person that when you tell them, hey, I'm the authority on the subject, it's kind of like the cops. If you call the cops and confess to a crime, they'll just laugh at you, because every time there's a new crime on the evening news, guess what? 30,000 people call in and say they know who did it. Knowing that that's how packed the inbox of a blogger and journalist is, how do you get through to them? This is where you use link and spin. Link and spin, link and spin, link and spin, link and spin, link and spin. That's how you do outbound PR for yourself, for your company, your product, your invention, your new app. What I mean by link and spin, figure out what's hot in the news right now. I'm talking split second. If you see the Huffington Post, if you see Engadget, you see any blogger, any tweet, any YouTube, start covering something, then you have to know across your industry, whether your industry is fashion, tech, beauty, food, retail, housing, whatever. You have to know what all the other bloggers are doing. You have to know the names of all the other bloggers. You have to know the email addresses of all the other bloggers and journalists in your industry first. If you don't have that list, please don't even try to do PR on your own. You'll waste your time and you'll fail. If you're writing a documentary about failing in PR, go ahead and do it. It'll be an excellent experience for you. You need all these email addresses and phone numbers and addresses. You contact them, and this is what you say. Remember, link and spin. This is what you say. Hey, I just noticed that Barry Greenmore of the Union Tribune and in the New York Times blog, the weekend blog, they're covering this story. And I know that these guys talk about what you talk about. So, are you going to do a blog post or a story or a journal or article or write-up about this too? Ask them that question. That question will get, if you shorten that in the subject line, don't just put a random subject line, because remember, 600 emails a day, you're going to want your subject line to look like an SMS, text message, and be very, very concise and to the point. Put that in there in the subject line. That just at least gets them to open your email. When they open your email, this is where you do the link and spin. Say, I've got this product. Let's throw an example, just a random example. Hair, wigs. Let's say you sell Indian Virgin Remy hair. It's a real thing. It's a real product, and it's a real big niche. Let's just say you sell something that niche like that. And the article happens to be movie star gets cancer. And you're selling Indian Virgin Remy hair. Okay, so how do you link and spin? First of all, you link your product to the event of a movie star getting cancer in a way that's sensitive and supportive and positive, that generates goodwill by saying, this movie star got cancer and she's going through chemotherapy. To make it easier, to make this horrible experience beneficial and helpful to the hundreds of thousands of other people going through the same experience with chemotherapy when they lose their hair, our company is giving away 100 free wigs, 100 free hair extensions, 100 free whatever it is. But it's got to be even smoother than that. Don't sound promotional. The way I did it was very promotional because I'm just throwing things off the top of my head. Make it sound extremely well linked and yet spin it back to your product. This is where it takes time. In a case like this, if we were to get an Indian Virgin Remy hair client who wanted nationwide press and publicity, it would take about a week of us sitting around on a whiteboard just throwing ideas against the wall saying, no, that's too crass, that's too bold, that's too salesy, that's too shallow, and we'd spend literally 40, 80, 200 hours of man time just debating the headline alone. That is how you do outbound lobbying to get yourself in the news. But remember, you have to get your email read. To get your email read, what do you do first? Now you've got to already have spent 6 months, a year to 2 years commenting on this journalist's blog, talking to this journalist. I'm not kidding you. Even taking this journalist and this blogger or whoever this writer is out to lunch, this media person. If your email lands in my inbox and I've seen your name in the comments of my blog over the last 2-3 years, then yes, I'm going to read your email before I read anyone else's. You see how that works? Now you see why professional PR people, professional marketing people who already have relationships, who already have the ear of an influential media person is worth paying. If you need help getting your product or service or company in the news, in blogs, talk to us. We're at sparkah.com/press. SPARKAH.com/press. And if you want help from other entrepreneurs, other startups, and other small business people, and if you have zero budget and you want to help each other, create buzz in news, join our social network, that's what we do there. We help you, we help each other at journik.com/marketing. JOURNIK.com/marketing. I look forward to seeing you there and helping you there as well.